Rui, we often hear about advisors meeting their clients, quote unquote, where they are. So what does this mean in an era of policy uncertainty and heightened volatility?
Yeah, I think that there's no question that in the current environment, investors are more than anything else uncertain, but also uneasy. And so what we believe is that you have to sit down with clients and make sure they take care of the long term, not just focus on the short term, not try to react to every single news story. And because of that, they end up having a long-term strategy that's focused more on thematics, deindustrialization, global trade, technology, and so on.
Can you talk a little bit more about risk management? Because the market for things like buffered ETFs and the options market, it keeps growing because people are a little bit fearful.
Yeah, I think that
despite the run up in the indexes.
Yeah, I think that the number one thing that we advise investors to do is think about diversification. Use all of the tools in your toolkit, including those kinds of things, but think about asset allocation, diversification, using alternatives as a way of buffering portfolio volatility to give you a much cleaner path, a more efficient portfolio to get to your goals.
And nowadays, advisors can customize that risk management for their clients. Can you talk about that a little bit more, and how about each client is now its own little fund?
Exactly. I think the three things that you need to customize for clients is number one, empathy, being able to understand the client. Number two is a full toolkit. And number three, an ability to deploy that. At Morgan Stanley Investment Management, we try to encourage our advisors to use all three of those things in order to deliver outcomes that will be very specific to the goals and constraints of a particular investor.
One way to reduce volatility is to use private market assets. Just basically go where the endowments and the institutions were, where the assets just sit there for a while and you check on them quarterly or whenever they're marked to market. However, there's a lot of people getting in this game. So can you talk about private market assets and risk management and what you're hearing from both advisors and clients right now?
Yeah, I think there's no question that there's a large trend amongst advisors and their clients into private markets. Now, generally, that has meant that more of those assets are going into sort of different kinds of structures, semi-liquid structures, evergreen structures, rather than structures traditionally that were very closed-end. That gives advisors and their clients a new set of tools to basically both create diversification and also increase performance.
And then finally, we are heading into tax season. People are right now collecting all their documents. So can you talk about customization with regard to helping clients lower their tax bills?
Yeah, I think that this is a huge area that clients should be aware of. And we have a platform that has an extensive range of tools, not just custom indexing, which can help bring forward losses, dealing with concentrated stock positions, tax efficient bonds. Our main point for investors in this kind of environment that are looking for not just the largest returns, but doing it in a tax efficient way, is to use the full range of a platform in order to deliver a tax efficient net return.
All right, well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thanks very much.